Morning now in the Middle East, and Israel has battlefronts against Hamas in its south and against Hezbollah over its northern border in Lebanon. Both these Islamist terrorist groups are funded and armed by Iran. Both are committed to the destruction of Israel, and neither is interested in peace, prosperity, two-state solutions, or the preservation of Israeli lives or even Palestinian lives. All they want is to terrorise Israel, to perpetuate bloodshed and to use the bloodshed to turn world opinion against Israel. And on that propaganda front, they've been largely successful. By slaughtering Jewish babies, shooting Israeli girls point blank, murdering families, mutilating bodies, raping women, taking hostages, and by firing rockets into Israel, killing and terrorising civilians. By doing all this, Hamas and Hezbollah ensure Israel has to hit back. It has to defend its people. And then the propaganda machine of the Islamist extremists, the radical left and the anti-Zionists around the world kicks in to blame Israel. Yeah, the useful idiots around the world condemn Israel for defending itself. They blame the victim. All this is funded and orchestrated by the Islamist regime in Iran. Yet the international pressure is not on Hamas to surrender its terrorists, hand back the hostages. The pressure is not on Hezbollah to stop using southern Lebanon as a heavily weaponised launching pad for attacks on Israel. And the pressure isn't on Iran to drop its fanatical desire to eradicate Israel, to stop funding, arming, training and manipulating Islamist terrorist groups. Iran foments terror and war driven by its Islamist extremist objection to the very existence of Israel. But we don't hear about pressure on the warmonger Iran. The pressure, unbelievably, is always on Israel, a liberal democracy that only wants peace within its borders and the right to protect its citizens. The pressure is on Israel to stop defending its people. What? To accept terror attacks? To accept missile barrages? To accept civilian deaths? This is how warped the debate has become. And this is why Israel has to ignore all that and do all it can to take out all the missiles and other weaponry in southern Lebanon. Missiles that incredibly have been raining in on Israel since October the 8th. That's how sick this conflict is. Hezbollah reacted to the senseless slaughter of 1,200 Israelis in the south by starting its bombardment from the north. Israel decided that now was the time to put an end to that.
In a display of power and military might, the Israelis unleashed a massive aerial bombardment, targeting ammunition and infrastructure belonging to Hezbollah. Israel's Prime Minister stated, "We are changing the balance of power." But the Lebanese Health Minister said they were killing civilians. Hundreds of people have been reported dead, with more than 1,000 injured.
The toll is terrible. It has been for decades. But the Lebanese authorities have actually accused Israel of targeting civilians, which is a recklessly irresponsible claim. Because the Lebanese people have been fleeing from the danger areas precisely because Israel warned them. Israel broadcast messages on Lebanese radio and television stations. They even sent messages in Arabic to all mobile phones, warning people to get away from Hezbollah installations. Israel's Prime Minister even added to the warnings directly.
I have a message for the people of Lebanon. Israel's war is not with you. It's with Hezbollah. For too long, Hezbollah has been using you as human shields. It placed rockets in your living rooms and missiles in your garage. Those rockets and missiles are aimed directly at our cities, directly at our citizens. To defend our people against Hezbollah strikes, we must take out those weapons. Now, starting this morning, the IDF has warned you to get out of harm's way. I urge you, take this warning seriously. Don't let Hezbollah endanger your lives and the lives of your loved ones. Don't let Hezbollah endanger Lebanon. Please, get out of harm's way now.
Now, this is not what you do, obviously, if you're targeting civilians. This offensive could go on for many months now. Remember, Israel degraded Hezbollah communications and leadership last week with those exploding pages and walkie-talkies. But even still, Hezbollah is firing rockets deep into Israel. It's provocative and not only endangers Israelis, but also endangers their own people by making Israel responses inevitable. Israel has circulated vision claiming to reveal missiles and other weapons systems hidden within civilian buildings in Lebanon. And if anyone doubts these claims, they just have to look at vision of what happens after the Israeli bomb strikes. The secondary and ongoing explosions show the strikes are not on lounge rooms, but something far more incendiary. Australians are again being warned to get out of Lebanon. Frankly, they've been warned to leave for many, many months. But while we hear calls for Israeli restraint from around the world, including from our own government, this all misses the point. The international community needs to take action against Iran, to sanction Iran for orchestrating this abomination and to force it to stop. And it needs to demand that Hamas hands over all hostages and surrenders its terrorists, while Hezbollah too surrenders its missile stockpiles and its weapons and its terrorists. That's the only way to deliver peace. That is, to stop terrorists trying to obliterate Israel. And every day that doesn't happen, and I'm no dreamer, believe me, I know it won't happen anytime soon, but every day it does not happen, it means that Iran and Hamas and Hezbollah all place a higher value on killing Israelis than they place on preserving the lives